Hello, and welcome to another Orca3D video tutorial. In this video, we'll be taking a look at adding healing moments to Orca in preparation for a stability criteria analysis. To navigate to Orca's Healing Moment Manager, click the Orca3D menu button at the top of the screen. Click Basic Hydrostatics and Stability, and then select Manage Healing Moments. Let's take a closer look at the Healing Moment Manager. There are currently 7 types of healing moments available. For now, we'll go over the basics using the Beam Winds with Rolling type as an example. To create a new healing moment, select the desired type, then click the Add New button. This should bring up the Healing Moment Editor. At the very bottom of the editor, users can enter a fixed value for the healing moment, or choose to have Orca calculate the value. In the center of the editor, we find a helpful diagram of the forces and dimensions asked for in the calculation. Input parameters for the calculation are entered here, to the left of the diagram. The inputs and the diagram are specific to the selected healing arm type. Input values are usually entered manually, but for some inputs, Orca can use Rhino geometry to get their values for you. To do this, select Use Rhino Geometry on the right side of the input area. Notice how the input boxes titled Lateral Projected Area and Lever Arm have been grayed out. These values will now instead be taken from the geometry you select. There are 3 different ways to get geometry from Rhino. Selecting the second checkbox down uses the current Orca3D design as the geometry. For more information on setting up an Orca3D design, check the description for some help resources, and stay tuned for an upcoming video all about it. The second option is to click the Compute from Geometry button. Once this is clicked, the user will be prompted to select objects from the Rhino model space. This could include a hull that isn't part of an Orca3D design, or perhaps a bulwark or deckhouse that doesn't need to be modeled with buoyancy. Or perhaps you want to include multiple items. The third option is the Select Curve button. Here, you can select one or multiple curves that represent the lateral projected outline of the vessel. If you already have a profile of the vessel, this can be used. In the lower right-hand corner of the editor, there is the Distribution modifier. With the constant selection, the healing moment's value will be constant for all angles of heal. The other option will scale the healing moment's value with the square of the cosine of the heal angle. Other distribution modifier options may be available with different healing moment types, as we will see. Let's move on to a different kind of healing moment, Beam Winds with Rolling and Icing. This healing moment simulates the wind healing that we saw before, but also includes the stability effects of a mass of ice weighing on the vessel. We still have the option to use our Rhino geometry to calculate lateral area and the wind lever arm, and we still have access to the different types of distribution and computation. Although our inputs may look a little different, the basic workings of the editor are all still the same. The Lifting Weights Over the Side healing moment type is self-explanatory. Because none of the inputs are area-based, there is no geometry option for this healing moment type. The computation methods stay the same, but notice how there are different distribution options available than before. There is no cosine squared option, but there is a new cosine option. The Towline Pulling healing moment type is perfect for towing vessels. Again, the cosine distribution is available here. The next healing moment type can model both personnel crowding and offset loads. This is the simplest healing moment type with just 2 inputs, a weight and a lever arm. The high-speed turning healing moment type simulates a vessel in turning. This type is also simple with just 3 inputs, speed, turn radius, and the lever arm shown in the diagram. If none of these types are suitable, there is a custom healing moment type. In the custom type, the user can either enter healing moments or healing arms. If the user enters a moment, this value will become the final healing moment applied to the vessel during the stability criteria analysis. The value of the healing moment will not be affected by the weight specified in the selected load case. If instead the user enters a healing arm, the moment applied to the vessel will be the product of the custom healing arms and the weight specified in the selected load case. To choose between moment and arm entry modes, use the radio buttons in the center of the bottom of the editor. Just like other healing moment types, the custom type allows the user to input a fixed maximum value. There are more distribution options in the custom type. The constant and cosine distributions are still available, with the new option to vary the healing moment by the cosine raised to any specified power. Now, instead of the maximum value computation method, let's choose the From Inputs Above option. Now we can enter the healing moment's value at specified angles of heal into the table at the center of the editor. Between the heal angles we specify, Orca uses linear interpolation to calculate the healing moment value. Don't forget to name your healing moment. Once you're happy with the healing moment, click OK to add the healing moment to Orca. It will now appear in the Healing Moments Manager. Thanks for watching, and check out the Orca3D channel for more how-to videos. Got more questions? There are more answers using the help resources in the description below this video.